Father Pesci, Father Claudius, Sister Veronica, teachers, parents, parishioners, friends, and fellow graduates. I, Lexi Hipp, stand before you as class president of St. Patrick's 2010 graduating 8th grade class. I would like to start out with simply saying thank you to everyone that has brought us along this wonderful path for all these years. All of your time and hard work put forth for our education is tremendously appreciated. Many of the graduates before us today have been St. Patrick's students since Mrs. Cochran's, Mrs. J's, and Mrs. B's kindergarten class. After learning our ABCs, we jumped right into Mrs. Graves' caring hands. We will miss her painless teeth pulling very much. Then came Mrs. Blum's 2nd grade. Back then, we were her children that she needed to keep an eye on, and now God has blessed her and Mr. Blum with their beautiful daughter up there. We will always remember your kindness. Soon followed Mrs. D'Agostino's 3rd grade class, where we experienced learning with shaving cream. Afterwards came Mrs. Hendrickson's 4th grade. We can proudly say that we now know how to walk in a straight line. We just would rather not. Only 1 year later, we were in the loving classroom of the sports fanatic Mrs. Mendy. Elementary school here at St. Pat's was simply great, but soon we realized that no longer was 2 + 2 = 4 impressive, but better yet, how to solve for x after it's divided by y and multiplied by 8. Mrs. Wags, we will deeply miss your dance moves and kindness, for we could not have asked for a better 6th grade teacher. Mrs. Ryan, we will most painfully miss your multiple chances you gave each and every one of us to make us into the math geeks we are today. Mrs. Brenner, we would like to say a very big thank you to you for the strenuous graduation preparations and countless amounts of times that you have put a smile on our faces. Ms. Blue, we thank you for your patience with all of us. The gospel couldn't have taught us better. Mr. Blum, only with you was there always a way that we could bring our grades up, and only in your class could we say that I don't want to go home with a straight face. Mrs. Keith Ryder, although a troubled thought, it is still just a cursed S to me. Thank you for continually being supportive of our talents. Mrs. Deja, I can finally trust you for Spanish and know what they're saying to me. Mr. Donner, thank you for making Wednesday Masses memorable ones for us all. Mrs. Russo, thank you for making Friday mornings here at St. Pat's fun-filled with span. Mrs. Simon, thank you for bringing French culture to the lives of many students. Mrs. Logano and Mrs. Goldsteiner, thank you for being the nicest aides anyone could ask for. Mrs. Wright, we will miss your raving over the Tampa Bay Lightning and your countless typing sessions. Mrs. Trowbridge, thank you for being the glue that holds this school together. Justin Trowbridge, I never thought that just a guy putting in volunteer hours could make such a drastic change in the lives of so many students. You have been a friend to us all, and we will always remember you. And last but not least, Coach. I would like to take a moment and say a huge thank you to you on behalf of us graduates. PE has always been our favorite subject, from running under the parachute to running the mile. And you saying it's a secret to write me an essay. You have made our life at St. Pat's a time that we'll never forget. From the time we made our first communion to the day we made our confirmation, the Church of St. Pat's has also been a big part of our daily lives at the school. So thank you, Sister Veronica and Father Pesci, for continuously keeping up with our growing relationship with God. To all of the present faculty that we have not had the privilege of having, thank you for all you have done for this school, and you will be equally missed. It literally pains me to stand up here and say that this is the end, but it also fills me with joy to know that is false. This is not the end. The end of our lives here at St. Pat's is not in any way over. We will always belong to this school, whether we're called alumni or students. The memories we have established here will always be in our hearts, and the friendships we have grown here will last a lifetime. So here's to a lifetime of love, of pain, of happiness and laughs. Here's to a lifetime of being a follower of Christ and a part of this great school. Here's to summer 2010. Let's make it a memorable one together. Thank you.
Good, bud.